And the title of that is our response to President Buhari about a statement credited to him yesterday. And it's titled, PDP to Buhari, your gloating over APC rigging is reckless. Demands international sanctions, travel ban after May 29. Gentlemen of the press, we have called you up again today to address the unfortunate, reckless, unpresidential conduct and sub judice comment credited to the President, General Mohammad Buhari, which is already causing apprehension and is capable of destroying our corporate existence as a nation. As you are well aware, the February 25, 2023 presidential election has been adjudged across the nation and globally as the worst in the history of our country. The presidential election was marred by a brazen violation of the provisions of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999 as amended, the Electoral Act 2022, INEC regulations and guidelines, manipulation of processes, alteration of genuine results from polling units, announcement of fabricated figures, and climaxed by the vexatious declaration of the defeated candidate of the All Progressive Congress, APC, Senator Bola Ahmed Tinubu, as winner. The general despondency, resentment, and anger across the country, the damning reports by election observers, and the pervading international contempt against Nigeria since the declaration of the APC candidate as president-elect are ominous testaments that he does not have the mandate of majority of Nigerians derivable only from a credible electoral process. As you are also aware, the PDP is already at the tribunal with the prospects of reclaiming the mandate freely given to our presidential candidate, Atiku Abubakar, at the presidential election. Nigerians and the international community are therefore appalled, horrified, and scandalized by the careless, unguarded, and sub judice comment by President Buhari in which he attempted to justify the rigging of the February 25, 2023 presidential election by the APC under his watch. This statement reveals the utter disregard that General Buhari has for our constitutional democracy, judiciary, and the will of the Nigerian people, as expressed at the February 25, 2023 presidential election. It is, to say the least, reprehensible for Mr. President to post and gloat over the trampling of the will of Nigerians, blame the opposition for being overconfident, and according to him, for not being tactical, in quote, perhaps enough to outwit the violence, brutality, threats, suppressions of voters, rigging and election manipulation by the APC and the government which he heads. It is unpardonably that President Buhari, who swore to uphold the laws of our country and made several commitments to the world to ensure free, fair, credible, and transparent election, is rather in approval of election rigging through manifest compromise of INEC system and widespread alteration, falsification, and switching of election results in favor of his rejected party, the APC. President Buhari is practically gloating over the undermining of democracy by INEC, which refused to transmit directly results from the polling units to his server and website, and announced same in total violation of the express provisions of Section 64, subsection 4A and B of the Electoral Act 2022. More distressing is that after pretending over the rigging of the election, President Buhari, by his sub judice comment, apparently seek to bully, blackmail, and influence the judiciary and the outcome of the petition pending before the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, so as to allow his party, the APC, and his candidate to grab, snatch, and run with the people's mandate. The PDP in clear terms said President Buhari and his APC that our party and candidate, Atiku Abubakar, clearly won the February 25, 2023 presidential election, as shown by the authentic results from majority of polling units across the country. The PDP did not lose the presidential election, as claimed by President Buhari, and were not willing to surrender the mandate freely given to our party by the people, irrespective of the threats, bullying, and manipulation by the APC-led administration. Nigerians believed and expected President Buhari to leave a legacy of a free, fair, and credible election based on his numerous undertakings and promises, but is leaving an ignoble, dishonorable, and disgraceful legacy of enabling and superintending over the worst election conducted in the history of democracy in Nigeria. President Buhari, history will never be kind to you. It is instructive to state that part of the electoral process is the adjudication by the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal, which is considering petitions arising from the election. President Buhari, by his sub judice statement, is clearly interfering in the electoral process, ostensibly to influence the outcome and undermine the constitutionally laid down procedures for change of government. Having clearly undermined democracy in Nigeria, the PDP calls on the international community to accordingly impose sanctions, including visa ban and travel restrictions, on President Buhari and his family immediately he vacates office on May 29, 2023. This demand for sanctions is in line with President Buhari's request on February 17, 2022, in Brussels, Belgium, wherein he called on the European Union, EU, to impose, quote, weighty sanctions on those engaged in unconstitutional change of governments, as well as those influencing the, quote, process and outcomes of elections. Now you see the chicken has come home to roost. This is his word, and I'll quote him. In President Buhari's word, he said, and you listen carefully, he was saying this in Brussels, Belgium, at an EU conference in 2022. And I read it carefully and you listen. And he says, these are his words. We also call for stronger support from the European Union in the condemnation and imposition of weighty sanctions on countries that engage in unconstitutional change of governments, as well as manipulation of constitution. He went further, and I quote again, it is therefore imperative, that is Buhari speaking, it is therefore imperative for our partnership to also focus on strengthening election processes in Africa and prevent interference to influence the process and outcome of election. That is what he has just clearly done. He's trying to influence the outcome of the election by that reckless statement. The PDP also demand an open investigation into the roles played by President Buhari in undermining of democracy in Nigeria in the 2019 election and the 2023 presidential elections. President Buhari needs to be advised